thought I'd find it. A love that feels so perfect. I can't even word it. Yeah, you make me lift up from the ground. I believe that we are more. All the world is looking for. Show them all we got it. Never look back, never let go. I don't need to look no further. You are the one, I'm certain. Only one that I'll be holding. When you're loving me, you're loving me. It goes like, look no further, look no further. It goes like, I believe that we are more. All the world is looking for. Show them all we got it. Never look back, never let go. I don't need to look no further. You are the one, I'm certain. Only one that I'll be holding. When you're loving me, you're loving me. It goes like, look no further, look no further. Look no further. It goes like. Through the night and morning, when the rain is pouring, you're the one I'm calling. You're my escape from my darkest days. And when the sun is shining, you know we out here riding, chasing the horizon with you. I don't need to look no further. You are the one, I'm certain. Only one that I'll be holding. When you're loving me, you're loving me. It goes like, look no further, look no further. Look no further. It goes like, look no further, look no further. Look no further. It goes like, I never thought I'd find it. A love that feels so perfect. I can't even word it. Yeah, you make me lift up from the ground. I believe that we are more. All the world is looking for. Show them all we got it. Never look back, never let go. I don't need to look no further. You are the one, I'm certain. Only one that I'll be holding. When you're loving me, you're loving me. It goes like.
Hello, welcome to the stream. Just trying out some new music to go for in the background. Let me know what you think. Is it too high? Is it too noisy? Can you even hear it? Welcome to the stream. Trying out some new music. Your formal, was that like the intro music when it says starting soon, or can you hear the music actually right now? Music is very quiet. I can hardly hear it. Okay. I'll turn the volume up a bit. Let me know if it's too loud. The thing is, I can't hear the music, so it's like I can tune in with another channel on my iPad or my phone, but yeah, that will just make this stream echo a lot. So got any questions ahead of next weekend's deadline? I guess some of you own Saka. Waiting for Arteta to tell us exactly what's going on, right? Hi, Cortex. I'm fine, thanks. How are you? Vortex, I'll ask you as well. What do you think about the background music? Is it too loud now, or is it still a bit too low? Or should I just mute the whole thing? Great, cheers. I made an early transfer, brought in the lap for Joe Pedro. Yeah, decent. One of the attackers that I've been advising people to bring in. Really like him, and of course there are other good options as well, but with the fixtures Ipswich have right now, I think that the lap is a really good option. And they had a really tough start to the season, playing against both Man City and Liverpool. So his stats is not that great. He has like 1.22 in expected goal involvement or something like that, but he's starting to pick up some form, and the fixtures, as mentioned, they are really good. I was going to roll transfer this week if Saka is okay. Yeah, that was my plan as well. Just save a transfer this game week and play with the team on the screen. But if Saka is rumored to be out, I think I will just get Foden. I don't even need a confirmation from Arteta, and I know we're probably not going to get that from him. So if he's rumored to be out, then I will probably just get Foden. Man City's fixtures are so good, while Arsenal actually have tough fixtures from game week 9. And my plan is to wildcard in game week 12, so bring Saka back on a game week 12 wildcard looks to be a really good option for me. It's perfectly fine. Yeah, thanks Cortex. I'll just leave it and background music is okay. He's had 8 shots last 2 game weeks, 5 on target, scored 3, not too bad. Yeah, he has over-exceeded his expected goal involvement a bit, but excuse me, as mentioned, he has had a couple of really tough fixtures where we didn't really get involved in the game. I watched those games against Man City and Liverpool, so he looks to be their main source for goals, and like that's what we want from striker, right? Last week I was discussing the budget strikers. It was actually on my deadline stream, and right now there are so many good options. You have, of course, Calvert-Lewin and Wood, and not Mitrovic, but Raul Jimenez is in the mix. Yeah, Cunha, really good fixtures from game week 9. And of course, Vardy the lap. So there are so many options right now. So I do believe that going with 3 attackers is the way to go. Didn't get to Wood or Calvert-Lewin, so both him instead. Yeah. I already have Vardy, though my attack is so weak. Do you have Jamie Vardy and now we have the lap? Do you have a 4.5 midfield fodder as well? Or do you have 5 midfielders who's good enough to start? My budget strikers are Haaland, Watkins, and Solanke. Sounds like your teams are quite different. FOMO, you have spent a large chunk of your budget in attack, while Cortex is more of a midfield man. If that's a thing. Same midfield as you, apart from Smith Rowe. Yeah, you have Salah, where I have Smith Rowe. Yeah. Benching Semenyo, yeah. I think it's safe to bench players like Semenyo, Smith Rowe, Rodgers, Calvert-Lewin when they play against Man City or Arsenal. I'm thinking about removing Haaland in game week 12 to spread the money. Yeah, that's exactly my plan as well. I will, as mentioned, use my wildcard in game week 12, and I will aim to have Chelsea. I will probably have triple up on Arsenal as well. They have good fixtures from game week 12, and I will probably have Palmer. Maybe I will bring in Jackson if he still looks good around game week 12. But Haaland, I will probably take a new punt on not owning Haaland. I'm not sure if you're aware, FOMO, but I started the season without Haaland, so yeah, my rank is not the best at the moment, but I do believe that at some point it will be beneficial to spread the money and not having him. Will you own any of the City attackers in your wildcard or none? Good question. As mentioned, I will probably spread the Haaland funds. Man City's fixtures are not that good from game week 12, and they have a lot of fixtures as well, so probably I will take a new punt on a no Haaland team. But if Foden really fires in the next couple of game weeks and I find a spot in him in my wildcard in game week 12, then Foden is probably a good shout. I don't know. I'm not sure how many minutes he will play from game week 8 to game week 12. But Pep has been talking positive about Phil Foden in the press conferences, and he's starting to build up minutes. So 5.5 ownership, I do believe that Phil Foden is a decent punt right now. We saw last season what he can do. So yeah. I'll probably sell both Rodgers and Watkins on a wildcard. Henderson probably be gone as well. I'll monitor Smith Rowe and Semenyo closely. Of course, they have a really good rotation, so if I find funds to have one of them starting and one of them as my bench cover, as I have right now, that's probably a decent option. I don't really like having a 5.7 player on the bench each week. Usually I have a 4.5 defender on the bench and a midfield and forward 4.5 fodder. I'm gonna keep Saka even if he's actually injured and play either Semenyo or Robinson. Yeah, that makes sense. It didn't really sound like he was going to be out for a long time, so if you want Saka, then it's probably a good idea to keep him and save a transfer. Yeah, especially since you already used your transfer. It's probably wise to avoid the hits. In my case, though, I have one free transfer right now, and as mentioned, Man City's fixtures are so good from game week 8 until game week 12, and as I still have my wildcard and lose it in game week 12, I can easily get Saka back. Are you playing Rodgers each week, Cortex, or is it like in a rotation or something? If you look at the Aston Villa fixtures, it's quite mixed going forward. Son's back to full training with the squad, so he'll be in contention to start. Yeah, I read that. Richarlison, Son back in training, so that could be an option as well. Selling Saka if he's injured and bringing Son. It's just that it's so tempting going for Foden at 5.5 ownership with those fixtures. I already had Son actually in my team a couple of game weeks ago. So I sold him when he got injured. Rodgers has played every week for me since game week 1, yeah. That's good points for the price. Tough start for Rodgers owners, seeing him producing so many chances and having a couple of chances as well, but not finding the net. But game week 5 and 6, he was it 6 or 7? Oh, 5 and 6. He repaid the patience for the owners. Some back to full fitness. Let's see. Some 9.9. To be honest, when I take a look at Spurs fixtures, some is getting a bit more tempting. They have West Ham, Crystal Palace, Villa and Ipswich at home in game week 11. And game week 12, when I'm going to use my wildcard, they play City away, then I will just sell him on my wildcard. So yeah. And when was such a cheat code, yeah. It's like when Tony left Brentford, he became one of the best options in the game. I said it before game week 1. I'm not really sure why I didn't start the season in game week 1 with Mbuemo, but he was my first transfer in. Currently I have Madison and Solanke. Might do Saka to Johnson. Oh, a triple up on Spurs. Not the worst either. They are so attacking. All of them good options, mid-priced, involved in Spurs attack. So it would be a really good differential having all three of them. I think that Johnson will become one of the most transferred in players ahead of game week 8. Tomo had Mbuemo since game week 1. Yeah, nice. Can you see yourself doing a goalkeeper transfer before your wildcard? At the moment, I only have one free transfer, and for me to make a goalkeeper transfer at this moment, I would probably have to have at least three free transfers and no injuries for me to be interested in selling Henderson. The thing is, even though Henderson has a tough fixture, we know that at some point the budget goalkeepers does well against tough opponents, and that's why the goalkeeper rotation hardly ever works, because you bench them for the tough fixtures and then they haul, and the goalkeeper in your starting 11 blanks against easier opponents. So no, if Liverpool had better fixtures, maybe a punt on Kelleher, as we know that Alisson will be injured. And probably not back until my game week 12 wildcard. So if Liverpool had a little bit better defense and a little bit better fixtures, then it would probably be tempting to sell Henderson and bring in Kelleher. I just gambled on Tony leaving Brentford, so a good start. Yeah, the rumors were quite strong, so yeah, I was really tempted as well. I think I mentioned it in my game week 1 team selection video that I would probably regret not having him in my game week 1 team, and yeah, I got that one right actually. Christian Ashley, hi guys and girls. Hello. FPL Cortex, yeah, it's like in such a troll. Thought to do well in those home fixtures. You're not the first one betting on the home goalkeeper with the easy fixture. It's like, well, in those fixtures, all it takes is one goal against them, because they don't get much save points in those games. So if they concede, it's probably just 2 points. Yes, they could very well be good in game week 8 playing against Man United. Probably, yes, he will get some save points, but as we saw against Aston Villa, United actually were better in defense than when going forward, so second against United could be decent. I took Rodgers out for Buonanotte from Leicester. Rodgers bores me now. Your thoughts? So this is a transfer you made ahead of the game week 8 deadline, so this week. I don't hate the idea of bringing in a Leicester player. They have good fixtures as well, and Rodgers, his ownership is it has grown, so he's well owned now. So it's getting to that point that when you own Rodgers and he blanks, it will be good fair rank. If you don't own him, of course. I do believe that Buonanotte is kind of underrated. He is it 3 attacking returns for him so far, and he's nailed on to play. Let's have a look at some stats for midfielders and expected goal involvement. Buonanotte actually has 1.30 expected goal involvement, so he has over-exceeded his expected data with 1.31. Mavididi actually is the player from Leicester with the highest expected goal involvement right now. Just a bit more exciting. Yeah, he's really exciting, really good player. When considering the expected goal, that is like when we take a look at the lap, he passes the eye tests, and when watching Ipswich, you can just see that if Ipswich will get a goal, he will be involved. But when you take a look at the expected stats, he only has 1.21 in 7 game weeks, so that's not much, but we know that he has scored more than 1 goal and is actually looking pretty dangerous when he's on the ball. So both Delap and Buonanotte, even though they only have 1.20 something, I think they are really good buys considering the fixtures. And before you joined in, Christian, I talked about actually selling both Rodgers and Watkins going forward. Mixed fixtures for Aston Villa. If I do sell Saka this game week and going for Phil Foden, that will leave me with a bit more money in the bank as well, so probably that can be money spent to upgrade one of my other midfield players. I like your Van Dijk pick, low-key playing very well under slot. Yeah, that was like, I really wanted to cover the Liverpool defense, and Of course, Trent is a really good option, but he was priced at 7. So I thought that both Robbo and Van Dijk probably could be better value. So Robertson was injured before game week 1, and Van Dijk looked really well in the Euros. So I was hoping for Van Dijk to do something similar to Gabriel, and I was hoping for a goal by now, but as you mentioned, he has played really well, and we know that he will play 90 minutes week in and week out. So yeah, I still believe that he's a decent option. Not high hopes for game week 8, playing at the Stamford Bridge against Chelsea. So if Mikolenko is back, he is yellow flagged. It is tempting to actually bench Van Dijk and go for a Mikolenko punt in game week 8 against Ipswich. I brought in Foden last week, feeling like I went a bit too early. Yeah, it's easy to say in hindsight, of course, because he blanked, but I talked about Foden ahead of last game week as well. We go in into the FPL app and open a Man City player and take a look at their fixtures. It's really tempting to have at least 2 of their attackers. Something on the way for Van Dijk, keep the faith. Yeah, hopefully he can get something before I sell him. I'm not sure if he will survive my game week 12 wildcard, so hopefully he can get something in between game week 8 and game week 12. The thing is, he actually scored for Liverpool in the Champions League, so that's kind of irritating, seeing your player do well in other competitions. It was like I started the season, as mentioned, if you didn't know, I started the season without Haaland, and he was doing so well in the Premier League, but he blanked for the national team and he blanked in the Champions League. So now that I brought him in, he has started scoring for the national team, so hopefully this is not a sign that he will blank again in game week 8. He will probably be my captain in game week 8. My last game week 8 team selection video, I took a look at the stats for both Wolves and Bournemouth, and it's a really big difference when we consider their defensive stats. Bournemouth have actually been quite good, but Wolves are. Yeah, let's just say that Wolves are really bad. They're 20th and 19th for most of the stats when it comes to conceded goals, big chances against them, and shots on target. Wolves are really bad, so hopefully Haaland captaincy will pay off in game week 8. I guess that's not. I will not be alone in captaining Haaland in game week 8. His ownership will probably, let's see, he's owned by 70% now. His ownership will probably be 120, maybe some triple captains. Maybe we can see 130% of ownership in game week 8. Is there any other good captain choice other than Haaland? So in my video, I compared Arsenal and Saka and Haaland and Man City and their opponents. So of course, Saka could have been a decent shout. Did really well in game week 7, of course, but now that he's rumored to be injured, I can't really see him as being a contender for the armband. So yeah, if you own Cole Palmer, probably he is a decent shout playing. Cole Palmer playing against Liverpool and Buemo against United. I wouldn't captain Palmer against Liverpool. I haven't really given this that much thought. It just makes sense for me when I finally own Haaland to captain him when he's playing against Wolves. But if you don't own him or want to take a punt, probably Watkins can do well against Fulham, or maybe someone like Havertz if you own him. Or bring in Phil Foden. So are you considering captaining someone else, or Haaland did well yesterday? He scored 2 goals against Slovenia for his national team Norway. But if Haaland turned out to be injured, if Haaland turned out to be injured, I would probably bring in Foden and captain him. Foden as a false 9 against Wolves. 100% captaining Haaland this week. Captain Saka last week. Oh, great. Yeah, I did as well. As mentioned, I started the season without Haaland, so my rank before game week 7 was something like 4.1, 4.2. So the Saka captaincy got me up to 2.9. So hopefully in a couple of game weeks I will be back with a decent rank. Last game it was kind of strange in a way. I was so happy, of course, captaining Saka, great, 32 points, happy days, but I had so many other options that disappointed in the matches after Arsenal played. It was like, especially watching that Aston Villa Man United game, having Rodgers and Watkins both starting. Rodgers had this early chance assisted by Watkins, but went like half a meter outside the post. But other than that, that game was so boring, and of course Haaland blanked. That was good for me, but Calvert-Lewin blanked as well. Semenyo had really high hopes for him. I brought him in last game week. and he has done so well, and he had a good fixture against Leicester, but he blanked. Actually only had 3 returns: Semenyo, Mbuemo, Van Dijk and Saka, and altogether my team got 65 points. Around 1.5 million rank last week, but a bad week this week, and I could fall. Yeah. True, that's how the game works early days. Especially if you are down in the millions, it's really big swings in rank in the first 15 or so game weeks. So what I need in game week 8 is Saka to be confirmed to be fit. If he is not confirmed to start, if he's rumored to be out, and if there's uncertainty, I will probably take a punt and sell him for Phil Foden. Hopefully Foden can do well, so my rank can improve a bit. But again, it's kind of tempting with Son as well, if Saka is still rumored to miss the Bournemouth game. No, he is back in training and also have really good fixtures all the way until game week 12. It's 60-40, I'd say, for me to go Saka to Foden ahead of game week 8. I'm not saying that especially if you don't have your wildcard, I wouldn't necessarily say that selling Saka to Foden is that good, but if you still have your wildcard available and have a plan to use it in game week 12, then it actually makes sense to sell Saka and take advantage of Man City's good fixtures. At the same time, Arsenal, they have a really big fixture swing in game week 12. They have tough fixtures in game week 9 and onwards, but green fixtures from game week 12, so it looks to be the perfect move for the game week 12 wildcarders right now. Ahead of the game week, Mbuemo is the most transferred in player. Saka is actually the second most transferred in player this game week. I want to keep Saka through his tough matches, but I will sell him if unsure of his fitness. Yeah. So it's like if he's not 100%, he will probably start. We saw that last season, even though he's not 100% fit. Arteta is trusting him and will probably start him. It's like if it's an injury that won't get worse, he will probably play through the pain. It was like this around the same time 1 year ago. I remember Saka was rumored to go out and yellow flagged in FPL, but he kept on playing. Saka is probably one of the players we can say to be fixture proof. Arsenal are that good, and if they get goals, Saka has a big chance of being involved. The thing when Arsenal play against tough opponents, I do think that Saka sometimes is playing a bit too wide. So they want to stretch the opponents, and Saka playing like almost on the touchline, and if they're playing against a tight defense, he tends to play back passes or cross the ball, so he's not drifting that much into the box. So yeah, that could be an argument of actually selling him now that their fixtures are getting tougher. Yeah, I get that 100% if you have Saka and not planning to use your wildcard anytime soon, or have spent your wildcard, then yeah, it's probably a keep. If you don't get any firm news ahead of the deadline, and I don't think that Arteta will give us any clarity as well, then I think that Saka should keep Saka in your starting 11. He will probably play and start, and if he's not fit to start, he will probably not play at all. It's not like Arteta needs to give him 50-20 minutes at the end of that Bournemouth game for match fitness or anything. He could just, if he needs to rest, he will probably be rested for Bournemouth, and if he's ready for game week 9, then he will just continue playing. As mentioned, there are a couple of arguments though when it comes to the tough fixtures. He tends to play a bit wider against tougher opponents to widen the play and stretch the opponent. And secondly, of course, Ødegaard, he is injured as well. He looks to be out until December. I read some reports that he had a setback with his injury, so it's not a good thing for Arsenal's attack. Even though Ødegaard hasn't delivered many goals this season, he is definitely one of their best players. If Saka doesn't play, I have Rodgers first on my bench. Yeah, of course. Then I believe Saka is definite keep in your case. Should leave Rodgers for game week 8. I haven't really thought about benching Rodgers and playing Semenyo. I know that Fulham is underrated when it comes to their defense, of course, but I can see and hope that Aston Villa can put a few past them in game week 8. So Aston Villa have a decent fixture against Fulham, and then they play against Bournemouth at home in game week 9. But then they have a couple of tough fixtures, playing Spurs away in game week 10 and Liverpool away as well in game week 11. I'll probably bench Rodgers in game week 11 and play both Semenyo and Smith Rowe. Semenyo has Brentford and Smith Rowe has Crystal Palace, so yeah. Rodgers will be my first bench in game week 11 before I use my wildcard in game week 12. Let's see if I can find I was talking about the Haaland's stats and Wolves' defensive stats. Let's see. Yes. So for the last 4 game weeks, Wolves conceded 12 goals, which is worst in the league. 19 big chances conceded and 27 shots on targets conceded as well. Expected goals conceded 10.04, so you can see that in all the metrics they are one of the worst teams. So yeah, I like a punt and I like going against the majority if it feels right and it's somewhat backed up by the eye test or something statistical. But this game week is not the week to try to be clever with the captaincy. So for me, Haaland will be my captain. My transfer will probably be Saka out and Phil Foden in. What it takes for me to keep Saka at this right now is actually if Arteta comes out and says that he will definitely start, then I will just keep him. But if we don't get any clarity and there's uncertainty about Saka's availability for game week 8, I will probably sell him for Phil Foden and bring him back on my game week 12 wildcard. Time's gone. So 3 transfers in. Saka, 185,000 managers brought in Saka. So hopefully for them, he is fit enough to start in game week 8. McNeil, one of the top 3 transfers this game week as well. I've had Calvert-Lewin since game week 1, so bringing in McNeil hasn't really been an option for me. Doubling up on the Everton attack is not that appealing. So McNeil is decent, but I went for Semenyo and Smith Rowe. We've got a couple of questions about Diaz as well, and I just see that he is the most transferred out. So it's like he's been so good in the first game weeks, but actually I think that he will see more rotation going forward with Gakpo back to his best. They will share minutes, and as I see, Gakpo and Diaz will share minutes on that left flank. Jota and Nunez will share minutes as number 9s, and Salah will probably be the safest bet, but of course he's also much more expensive. Diaz probably decent selling him right now, and I believe that both Johnson and Maddison from Spurs are good options. So to summarize my plans ahead for next game week, I will probably sell Saka, bring in Foden, and the captaincy will be on Haaland. Semenyo will be benched. I will play Smith Rowe and Rodgers. Mbeumo will of course play. He's been so good lately. Other options that I could put on the bench is Van Dijk, playing against Chelsea at the Stamford Bridge. Not a really good fixture. Chelsea are in decent form as well, so I'm not really hopeful of a clean sheet for Liverpool in that match, but I'm still waiting for that Van Dijk bullet header. So hopefully he can get some points. But if Mikolenko is fit and starting against Ipswich, then I will be tempted to swap Van Dijk and Mikolenko. Westergaard from Leicester has a decent fixture as well against Southampton, but he has been injured and not started a game since game week 1 or 2, so I probably not risk him in my starting 11. So let me know if you have any questions ahead of the game week 8 deadline. Of course, you can post questions on my game week 8 team selection video. Please go watch it if you haven't done so. I really need the support when it comes to the watch time. I have like enough subscribers on the channel, and that's great, but my problem is getting enough watch time. You need to have 4,000 hours of watch time. So please subscribe to the channel. What I do is I post one weekly video, the team selection video, where I go through the game week that has been. I talk about my team selection for the next game week and the captaincy. I always take a look at the best options for next game week, and I usually do a stream on Friday night ahead of the deadline, or actually on deadline day a couple of hours before the deadline is closed. So hopefully I'll see you next week on the live stream. It will be Friday night or before the deadline on Saturday. Good luck everyone for game week 8. Hopefully green arrows. Yes, good luck to you as well, FPL FOMO. Thanks all for joining in, and see you next time.